have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world when you hit that play button. So glad you did. This is indeed the Genesis Frequency Podcast, and I am Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina, diving right in today with a new episode here, talking about a couple things today that came up. It's one of those days when you hit that button, you think you're going to zig and you get the inspiration to zag. So we're going to zig and zag at the same time. I wanted to start off really by talking about the conversation that's always going on inside of us, right? We've been talking a lot about things that keep us stuck, things that are stoppers on this positive path for goal achievement, for moving into the realization of our dreams. And there are sticking points, and I covered those in the last couple episodes. But I really want to suggest that you really focus on paying attention to the inner dialogue that's going on. We're with ourselves all day long, every day, and at night too. And even during the night, we wake up, right? We wake up in the middle of the night and everything that we're thinking, because we're still thinking thoughts, that mind is going all the time. And worries and doubts and fears. Well, a lot of times at night, when we're in a different vibrational state of consciousness, those worries, doubts, and fears can be magnified, can't they? You get up in the light of day in the morning, it's not as bad as I thought it was during the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep, right? All during the day, these thoughts are taking place, and this inner chatter is going on, and it's ceaseless, and we can't shut it off. We think thoughts, and thank God we think thoughts, right? But I want to encourage you to be your own biggest cheerleader. When you're engaging in this chatter that's going on, first of all, number one, you don't want to engage on the negative side of the coin. You don't want to buy into that voice inside you that that is coming from the place. It's often ego, it's often personality, but it's usually that voice that's rooted and grounded in programming that you have perhaps false programming that you've come to believe in some level of your beingness, right? And so that voice is always speaking to you. And I think you know what I mean. You can engage it. The voice can say, "What are you doing? Get back over here in the comfort zone. You're not smart enough to go after a big dream like that. You don't have what it takes." And we can engage in that dialogue. We can say, "Hey, well, maybe you're right." And how often do we do this? We start agreeing with that voice and we let that voice talk us out of our next steps. We engage it. We listen to it. Don't listen to it. You don't have to listen to it. It's not a requirement. That's what I talk about when I talk about denying the power to things that aren't true in our lives. We're doing the work here. If you've been following my podcast on, especially from the beginning of this current year of 2023, And some of you have been with me for a lot longer than that, and I appreciate you. But we've been doing the inner work this year, examining some of those beliefs. What are they? Where did they came from? Coming to the understanding that, hey, this is all just input from what we call sense consciousness, from the world around us, from the TV, the radio, friends, acquaintances, strangers. Some of it came through genetics and DNA, and we just bought into so much stuff that is not true. You are good enough. You are smart enough. If you don't have the skill for something, you can acquire the skill. So, whatever it is, whatever that inner voice is locked into believing, and you're going in a different direction, it's going to speak louder. But you don't have to give it your attention. You don't have to give away your power to that voice. You don't even have to engage it in conversation. And that's probably the strongest thing you can do, the most powerful thing you can do. Just let it be. Just say, I'm done with that kind of thought, and just brush it away and focus in the present moment. Just yes. And that's one of the other things I wanted to talk about is diving into the task that you're involved in any given moment and doing that with excellence. Just striving for excellence in each and every moment. You often hear me talk about what we have is this eternal moment of right here and right now. When we spend too much time looking in the rearview mirror, we often drift into nostalgic thoughts and days gone by, which can even lead to depression sometimes because, we live in a world of change, and some part of us on the inside doesn't want that change. We want everything how it used to be. And we spend so much time looking backwards, we can move into a state of depression. And if we do the opposite and we're looking into the future, we can fill ourselves with anxiety, right? Because what happens? We engage that chatter on the inside. What if this? What if that? What if they do this? What if this happens? And it's a series of what ifs and what ifs and what ifs. And we start building assumptions. We start building scenarios. We're engaging the power of our imagination in a negative way. And we don't want to do that. And that can lead to stress and that can lead to anxiety. So that's why we want to focus on being fully present in each moment. And when we're fully present in each moment and we're working in this moment in our goal achievement, the movement that we're taking in the direction of our goals, our dreams, our desires, our aspirations, each moment we can approach with excellence. We want to approach it with love. We want to approach it with excellence. Yes, love. Love has to run like a thread through everything we do. And not just the doing, not just the task at hand, but every thought, every word, and every action. So that's one thing you can do, and that's not what this particular episode is about, but just think about that when you're dealing with that inner chatter. Is this voice coming from a place of love? Or is it coming from a place of worry, doubt, and fear? Is it coming from that comfort zone that I no longer desire to live in? There's no, you don't get comfortable with how good you have it. I just posted that on our private page, Success Ocean Inner Circle. Don't get comfortable with how good you have it when you can live an extraordinary life. So, is that voice coming from a place of love that's supportive of you? Or is it coming from a place that's counterproductive to the intention you have set for yourself when it comes to achievement? So we want to strive for excellence in each moment, whether we're reading a paragraph, because everything's taking place in the current, present, eternal moment of right now. And if we strive for excellence, whatever with whatever task we're working on in the moment, well, those you can look at those like building blocks, like like bricks that you're putting together, right? You're building this extraordinary life you desire to live. And where do we build it? We build it in the present moment of right here, right now. And we can choose to bring excellence into every moment as we strive for greater and greater and greater good. Think of a bricklayer building a building. He's focusing on the brick that he's laying in that moment. He's not focusing on the brick that's 20 feet above his head that he'll come to at some point, perhaps in a future that doesn't even exist yet. He has to concentrate on that brick being laid in an excellent way. It has to be level, it has to be all plumb, it has to be straight, it has to be even with everything around it, right? I don't know anything about bricklaying, but I would imagine that being level is pretty important because you could get to the top and everything's going to be crooked. So actually, that's a pretty good analogy. What we're doing in the present moment has to be perfect. We want it to be perfect, right? And we can strive for that perfection. Maybe we don't achieve perfection in every single thing we do. That's okay. We don't, this isn't about being a perfectionist, so maybe that's not the right choice of words here. But what we want to do is strive for excellence in every moment, because just like the bricklayer laying something that's even and plumb and level is going to have an impact on the rest of the row and what goes above it and what goes above that. So, what we bring to each and every moment, that excellence we bring to each and every moment, will have an impact and influence on what comes next for us in each next moment. And if we're focused, we're calling on that mental power of will, that mental and spiritual power of will, one of our mental faculties, one of our spiritual faculties, which is our ability to focus. If we have that laser focus in each moment, striving for excellence, what do you think the end result is going to be? This show is all about quantum leap goal achievement and radical personal and professional transformation. And this applies to you. Yes, to you. Whether you're working on some individual desire and aspiration, whether you're a small business owner, or whether you're taking this and listening to this with a team in the corporate environment, maybe in the boardroom, or with a team focusing on customer service or culture. If everyone would just take every moment and strive for excellence in every moment. Remember, I took the perfection back. We want to do everything we can if we can perfectly. But we want to strive for excellence. I'm putting everything into. I'm putting my heart into this. I'm putting everything I have into this. I want to share a piece this morning that from this morning that I shared. For those of you that don't know, 7 days a week, I do a little 4 to 5 minute broadcast. It's just on Facebook, Facebook Live. It's on a page called Unity Prosperity Ocean. And I call it morning inspiration. I do it 7 days a week, and I've been doing it for years. It's just something I enjoy doing. And I pull from a couple different publications. I read someone else's words. I do a little commentary on it. And it's just spiritual nourishment for individuals to get their day going. And I want to share a piece here that came up today, and I wasn't going to go in this direction, but it's really speaking to this excellence we want to bring to every thought, every word, every action that we take in every moment, to bringing it to every task and every day. And this piece lines up perfectly with it. It starts off. I mean, it's titled "Strive." The word it's a word for the day. It's actually from a little booklet called "Daily Word" from Unity World Headquarters. And the word is strive. And the affirmation is, I put my whole heart into everything I do. I put my whole heart into everything I do. I'm putting my whole heart in. I'm striving for excellence, right? And it says the word strive may evoke thoughts of struggle. but it can also mean to go the extra mile, to achieve excellence. I stretch myself and strive to attain the good I seek. So in every moment, we're striving for this excellence, bringing it to every task, to every thought, to every word, to every action, and making sure those tasks, those thoughts, those words, those actions are all in alignment. The next paragraph says, when I set a goal, I put my whole heart into reaching it. I confidently move in the direction of my dream. As I work to make good things happen, I trust the goodness of God will be revealed at the right time and in the right way. We could say, I trust in the goodness of the law, right? The universal laws. I trust in the goodness of the energy that is responsive to every action. Remember, every action, there is a reaction from this energy that we're immersed in. So we know and we are inspired for each next step. It continues. I put God first as I push myself to reach higher and go further than I have before. I begin each step with prayer, affirming I have everything I need mentally, physically, and emotionally to move successfully through each stage. My wholehearted efforts pay off, and I experience deep satisfaction and fulfillment from meeting the challenge I had set for myself. I love that piece, and it's speaking to exactly the topic we're talking about today, bringing it to it, and then bringing this excellence to every moment. And this last paragraph really speaks to that. We see it paying off, right? We see it paying off in the form of the achievement on what we set out, when we set our intention, when we made the commitment to our intention, and we brought excellence to every moment. We get that satisfaction. And even if we're not quite there yet, maybe we're not quite there at the pot of gold at the end of our rainbow, whatever that is for you or your company, what do you think you're going to feel like at the end of the day? You're going to feel pretty good. You're going to feel like, hey, a sense of satisfaction. Like today, there were some ups and downs, ins and outs, zigs and zags. But I brought excellence to every thought, to every word, to every action, to even those times when I was frustrated, even those times when I was irritated. I brought an excellent thought in to help me deal with it. I used excellent words. Maybe they're words of affirmations. I know I can do this. I'm so happy and grateful I can move through this successfully, even though I don't have the answers right now. See, that goes back and ties into that inner chatter that I'm talking about, that I talked about at the beginning of this episode. So when we're bringing excellence and we do it in each and every moment throughout the day, the sum total at the end of our day is a sense of satisfaction. And guess what the result of that is? Because remember, it's always thoughts plus feelings plus actions equals results. Well, at the end of our day, we're going to feel pretty good about our day. And when we lay down at night and put our head on the pillow at night, what happens is that that chatter, that inner chatter and dialogue that is usually pretty negative, that is usually non-supportive, that is usually wanting to reel us back into the comfort zone where we know if you listen to this show, you know your growth is not in that comfort zone. Well, that's going to die down. That chatter is going to get softer and softer and more faint and fade away because you're focused on how good you feel, and feeling is the secret. You're focused on how good you feel from bringing excellence every moment of the day. Now, all kinds of things, life happens. Don't beat yourself up if you encounter a moment where maybe you fell a little bit short of what your standard of excellence is. That's okay. You're in a new moment. Bring the excellence to that moment. Bring the excellence to that moment by not beating yourself up, by not moving to a negative thought. Remember, we want the thoughts, the words, and the actions to be all in alignment. We can have excellent thoughts, positive thoughts, but our words speak something that's counterintuitive or counterproductive or moves in the opposite direction. And so we want to make sure thoughts, words, and actions are in alignment. We want to make sure we're always aware of the equation thoughts plus feelings plus actions equals results. And we want to bring excellence to each and every moment. And with that, a lot of time for this episode. We'll keep talking about this a little bit and bring something new to it in the next episode. So make sure you stay tuned. This show comes out every Thursday morning at 2 a.m. It's published 2 a.m. Central Time. I don't think I've ever announced that before, but 2 a.m. Central Time, United States Central Time, same time Chicago or Houston. The show is published each and every week religiously. So just keep staying tuned. We're going to just keep going. We're going to stay on this positive path for radical personal and professional transformation and goal achievement. Don't forget, it's free to reach out to me and have a conversation with me wherever you are, for yourself as an individual or in your small business or for something taking place in your corporate environment. Reach out. Let's have a conversation. I just opened up more times so people could be accommodated around the world. You go to successappointment.com. That's not a website. It's just my calendar. You find a time. It'll show up in your time zone. Let's talk. Whether it's about your goals and your objectives and your dreams, whether it's about where you're stuck, whether it's about what's next, what's the next step. Hey, well, how can you help me finally move and move into that dream? Let's just have a talk about it. That's what I do for every listener to this show that reaches out to me. And yeah, I love doing it. I'm quite good at it. And so reach out if you want to, maybe have some coaching consulting or want me to come in and do a keynote or a featured presentation talk or a workshop, that kind of thing. It's the work that we do for individuals and for companies. And don't forget, I'm looking for a few entrepreneurs, for people that want to step into the wonderful world of being an entrepreneur in this wonderful world of personal and professional development. No, you don't have to have a podcast. And no, it's not multi-level marketing. It's a real business. Next month, I'll be 10 years in this particular activity that's very lucrative. So if you want to be interviewed to see if we have an energetic match to work together, reach out, same calendar, successappointment.com. Let's have a conversation about that. And let's get it done. Let's all move into that big dream that we've perhaps kept on the shelf for a long, long time. This is the year to make it happen. For now, that's it. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency, and this is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kismina, wishing you an infinitely spectacular day. Bless you.